Hi everyone! Today I'm going to be showing you how to make Finley's Starburst Hexie. This is based off the Finn granny square that I made ages ago. I wanted a starburst square that had a cute center and was relatively easy to make, so I have translated it into a hexie here. It's something that looks really cute when done in solid colors or without changing every round. Sometimes squares and hexies need to change colors every round in order to pick up on the details, but this one is great as a standalone. So it's got really cute detailing, it's really straightforward. I'm going to be using some creative knitter yarn that I have here in tweed. It's a DK weight, and I'm going to be using my 4.5 millimeter or size 7 hook. You can use any weight yarn for this pattern and the appropriate hook size for that yarn. This one here, done in the DK weight, measures about 3.25 from side to side and about 3.5 inches from point to point. Okay, to give you an idea of my gauge here. So I'm going to push these aside and grab my mint yarn. Look at that color. Isn't that fun? And you guys know I love a good tweed. So this one here is a superwash merino. Okay. So I'm going to assume that you know most of your basic stitches, and we're just going to breeze through this tutorial. So what we're going to do is start with a slip knot. Okay, you can make your slip knot whatever way you choose. I wrap my yarn twice around my finger, take the outside loop, pass it over top, wrap again with your working tail, and go like this. It absolutely does not matter how you do your slip knot. Okay, we all do them differently. There's lots of different ways, so it doesn't matter if you don't do it the same as me. So we're going to grab our working yarn and drop our tail, and we're going to start with a chain 5. Now, I say this with a preface. We're going to start with a chain 5 that is chained loosely, or you can chain 6. Okay, so you might want to play around with that. We're going to be putting a lot of stitches into the center of the ring that we're creating, so you want to make sure you have enough space. So I'm going to chain 5 loosely. Okay, so it's pretty big and gapey there. And then I'm going to join by slip stitching into that 5th chain from our hook, okay, to create a center ring. Now, before I start doing anything else, we have this tail, and I dislike sewing greatly. So I'm going to wrap this tail around the ring that we've created a couple times, as many times as it will go. And I'm just going to wrap and wrap and wrap. For someone who's starting out, this might feel a little foreign or a little finicky, okay? And I'm just going to hold it all together. The more you do it, the easier it gets, and it means that once I've worked my stitches all around this circle, I can cut that off and I don't have to worry about sewing in my ends, okay? So just wrap that tail as many times as you can get it around. And then we're going to chain 2. This chain 2 counts as a first double crochet, okay? And we're going to put 1 double crochet into the center of that ring. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we're going to chain 1. So this is how we create our first cluster. The rest of the stitches that we work into this center ring are going to be done differently, okay? That first one is just to kind of get you going, and it has no bearing on the rest of the stitches. So the rest of the stitches that we're going to put into this center ring, 11 of them, are what we call a 2 double crochet cluster, or crocheting 2 double crochet together. So to do that, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the center of the ring, okay, making sure we're working over all the tails and the things. Don't worry, it is a little finicky, but you will get used to it. Practice. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, you should have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to do that again. So yarn over, insert your hook into the center of that ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, and I want you to yarn over and pull, or sorry, you have 3 loops on your hook. Did I say 2 or 3? Anyway, you'll have 3. yarn over, and pull through all 3. Okay? And then we're going to chain 1, and we're just going to pull that cluster right to the beginning. Don't worry, you're not going to ruin your work here. Just pull that so you have lots of room, because we're going to do 10 more. We want a total of 12. This first one, even though it was worked differently, it's going to count as your first one. This is 2, so we need 10 more. So we're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Do it again. Okay. 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3 of those loops. Chain 1 to lock it in. Okay. Pull them back. We're going to keep going all the way around. So if you need to see that again, you can just pause the video, rewind it a little bit. If it was too fast, there is an option to slow down the playback speed. There should be 3 little dots in the corner, and you just change the playback speed so that it's a little bit slower. I'm going to work my way around the circle here. So it's a good time to pause the video so that you can work your stitches as well. And don't forget to chain 1 in between each of your clusters. Oops. And as you work over that tail, it'll start to disappear. Just pull it a little bit tighter, not too tight, but pull it a little tighter so that you can continue holding it down. And again, if you don't want to do it that way, you don't want to wrap your tail around and around and around because it's too finicky or whatever, that's okay. You can just sew your tail in at the end with a needle. It's not crucial to the pattern or its success. I have not been counting, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 clusters. There we go. So we're at our end. So I'm going to pull my tail. Okay, don't pull it all the way shut, because as you're working, when you cut this off, as you're working with your blanket and using it and washing it, that tail will wiggle its way out. So you don't want to pull it too tight, because eventually as it opens up, the center will start to fall apart if you don't have a long enough tail wrapped around the center there. Okay, so just, you're not going to get it closed all the way because there's way too many stitches in here. It's just one of those ones that's going to be a little bit open. Okay, to finish your round here, we're going to find the chain 1 that was between our first chain 2 and double crochet we worked, and then our first cluster. So we have our chain 1 right here. And to finish our round, we're going to insert our hook and just slip stitch. Okay, if you're changing colors, you would fasten off. So you would yarn over, pull your yarn through, and cut your yarn. Okay. And then I like to weave my tail into the back loops, just 3 or 4 stitches, and then back again. And then I work my next round over it so that I don't have to sew in that end. That's how I secure mine. Okay, but I am going to work a solid colored one like this one here. So all I'm going to do now is chain 2. Okay, now we're going to be working what's called a 4 double crochet cluster. So it's the same idea as this one down here, just more stitches. So we are going to yarn over, insert our hook into this same chain 1 space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to do that again. So yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to do that again. Yarn over, insert a hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, you should have 4 loops on your hook at this point. We're going to do it one more time. Yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So you should have 5 loops on your hook. You're now going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops and chain 2. Okay, so let's do that again. We're going to do it a little bit faster, and we're going to count. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you end up with 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 5 loops, chain 2. And you just do that all the way around. So you can pause your video if you want to get all of your stitches done. I'm going to work my way around my whole starburst here, and this creates a really cute little petal-like design. I really like it. It's just a little bit fancier than putting in like 3 double crochet stitches, and then they tend to like buckle. So I like the cluster stitch. It's really pretty without being too fancy and annoying to do, you know? It's really straightforward, but still creates something cute that looks like it was complicated. Okay, it will start to curl up on you. That's fine. Excuse me, I'm battling a bit of a head cold once again. I figured I should film my tutorial now because in a few days I'm probably going to be all froggy and coughing, and 'tis the season. Said no, if I wait 2 weeks until I actually finish the pattern, I'll have a full-blown head cold or something and I won't be able to film the tutorial. Oh, my yarn's caught. There we go. So again, it'll curl up, but don't worry, once we turn it into our hexagon, it will be just fine. I should say, because I've had some people comment when they're making the square version of this pattern that their centers end up being a little wonky. It shouldn't be wonky, okay? Mine's nice and flat, you can see. It's just this second round that's curling up. If yours is really wonky, it's one of 2 things. It's either your tension, so just do it a couple more times. Practice makes a huge difference. Or perhaps your hook size isn't appropriate for the yarn. Sometimes if you're using an acrylic yarn that's really thick and stiff, like a Red Heart Super Saver, you might want to go up to, instead of a 5mm, you might want to go up to a 5.5 or a 6mm, and that might help you a bit. But play around with it, because everybody has different tensions when they're crocheting, so. Okay, I've made it all the way around my circle. So now to join, I'm just going to insert my hook into this chain 2 space over here, into the space, and just slip stitch it shut. Okay, if you're changing rounds, then you would yarn over, pull through, and fasten off. Cut that yarn, fasten off. Okay, I am not. I'm going to turn this into a hexagon now. So nice, it's only 3 rounds. It's pretty easy. It goes by really fast. So now all I'm doing is I'm going to chain 2. This chain 2 counts as a double crochet. Okay, and I'm going to yarn over and work in a double crochet into the same chain 2 space. Okay, that's your first double crochet, and I'm going to do that one more time. Okay, so we have here 3 double crochets. Then I'm going to chain 1 because we're working a corner into this spot, and I'm going to work 3 more double crochets into this chain 2, and that will be our first corner. Okay, so we have a corner. Into the next chain 2 space, I'm going to work 3 double crochets. Okay, so that creates the edge of our hexagon, one of the straight edges. And now I'm going to work another corner. So I'm going to do 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, all into the same chain 2 space. Chain 1, and then down here I'm going to do 3 more, 2, 3. Okay, so we now have 2 corners. And now, exactly like we did last time, we're going to do 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. And we're going to work our next corner. Okay, so into this chain 2 space over here, we're going to do 3 double crochet, chain 1. You can experiment with chaining 2. It'll definitely make it more pointy, and it'll leave extra room for you if you're, depending on how you're wanting to join them up. But I'm just doing chain 1, okay? And we're going to work another side, so just 3 double crochets into that next chain 2 space. And then another corner. So we do 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. So really straightforward and goes by so fast when you work them in solid colors. Okay, we're going to work another side. So we're going to do 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. And then into the next one, we're going to do 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. Getting close. You can see we almost have a hexagon. So we got to do another side here. This will be our second last side. Okay, so our 3 double crochets, and then we work a corner. So 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. Okay, now I have one more side left to do in that chain 2 space there. So let's work in our 3 double crochet. Okay, so we're all the way back around to the beginning. Now I'm going to find the first double crochet, not our chain 2 here. Okay, so we're going to find the top of this first double crochet, and I'm going to insert my hook into the top of it to fasten off. Okay, so you just slip stitch, pull up on your yarn. I'm going to grab my scissors. Look at how cute these are. Aren't they fun? It's the little things. It's the little things. Okay, so pull that tight. Now with mine, I know I'm going to be working another round, so when I join them, I'm going to be working in between my little granny shells here. So I know that I'm working another round, and I'm going to fasten off this tail the way I would do any of the other ones. Okay, so I'm going to insert my hook into the back loop and just weave that tail through. And why do I do this? Because I don't like sewing. So I find if I'm on the run or just out and about, or even when I'm at home, I just find that doing it with my hook is faster, and it's just, I don't know, more fun. It doesn't disrupt the flow of my work as much as like pulling out a sewing needle and sewing it into the back. But I will preface this by saying, or I guess that doesn't really make sense, but I will say that if you are not working another round on these Hexies and you're going to be slip stitching your squares together or something, then it's much easier to just sew that tail in. It makes it a little cleaner. If you're slip stitching them, then you kind of have this bulky bit here and you can kind of get confused and it ends up looking messy. So this really only works if you're going to be working another round, okay, of some sort. So I'm going to be doing a continuous join as you go to join all of my Hexies, and so that will all be hidden and you won't see it, and then I can just cut my tail off. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have fun making tons of little teeny tiny Hexies. Take care, everyone.